Good morning, Kevin and Bean. How are you?
We're very good, thank you.
Well, I'm looking at a photo of your daughter on the cover of Stuff magazine right now, and wow, what a body, Don.
Isn't she hot?
Yeah.
She's something else.
If she wasn't my daughter, I'd still like to bang her.
Oh, Donald, don't say things
I
like
would
that.
bend her over an ottoman and just teach her a lesson.
Donald, stop it.
She would not sit down comfortably again for some time after I was through with her.
Donald, don't talk about your daughter like that.
I'm saying if she wasn't. I said if she wasn't. What part of that didn't you hear?
I know, but she is.
If she wasn't my daughter, I'd rip her clothes off. I'd throw her down.
This is ugly.
You shouldn't even notice
I'd make her call me daddy.
Well, you are daddy. Okay.
If she was my daughter, she would already call me daddy.
Now, she's a vice president in your company. Is that right?
Yeah. That's in quotes. Vice president in quotes.
Oh, in quotes. I see.
Okay. Now, here's the debate that you need to settle here, because Kevin thinks that it's the only reason she looks great on this magazine cover is because of the airbrushing. It's almost like her face has been sandblasted here to get every blemish out. What is she like in real life, in person?
She's incredibly attractive, intelligent, personable. I think she is one of the most attractive, beautiful, smart, intelligent women ever to walk the face of the earth.
Of course, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter. I'm saying that because I want to bang her.
Oh, Donald, you've got to stop saying that.
If she wasn't my daughter.
But she is.
But if she wasn't, she'd be just my type.
Oh.
Just a whorish blonde.
Okay.
Who I would do anything for money.
Okay.
I love those kinds.
Hey, does she still live at home? I know she's in her 20s, but is she still living in the Trump mansion there?
Yeah, she lives here in the mansion. She's got her own wing.
Excellent.
And we couldn't be more proud of her cover of Stuff magazine.
Well, it's quite lovely. Is there is she around? Is there any way we could talk to her?
Sure, hold on a second. Ivanka.
Oh, excellent. Ivanka Trump now on the cover of Stuff. We're going to talk to her and find out what's going on.
Hello?
Ivanka?
This is Ivanka Trump.
How are you?
Good. Good, how are you?
You sound very much like your dad.
That's ridiculous. I sound nothing like my father.
Okay.
My voice is the most original voice that has ever been heard by human ears to come out of the larynx of a young lady who is much like myself.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Ivanka, we had some questions about this photo shoot. How much airbrushing did they do to make you look like this in this magazine photo?
There was no airbrushing at all.
None.
That is me, as you're seeing on the cover.
I see.
And may I say, the Stuff magazine cover that I am on is the greatest cover of any magazine that has ever appeared on a newsstand throughout the history of published periodicals.
Wow, you are your father.
No, I am not.
Not at all.
I am Ivanka Trump. I am my own woman.
Right.
I stand alone. I make my own decisions, and I'm very proud of my independence.
Right.
You're fired.
You can't fire us, Ivanka.
Oh, that so should have been when you got out.
We don't work for you.
And he owns the pageant, which is why he gets to decide.
Rosie O'Donnell got all upset. And we thought we would bring Donald onto the show today, just to kind of find out what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Trump.
Good morning, Kevin and Bean. How are you?
We're very good, thank you.
Great to be talking to you on the greatest radio show ever in the history of the medium of radio that's ever been broadcast across the airwaves, received by antennas in cars and homes, brought into little tiny speakers that play sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right, depending on how good your speakers are.
Okay. Well, you're very kind to say that, sir. So refresh people's memory who may have missed this story over the holidays, Mr. Trump. Why was Rosie O'Donnell so ticked? What's her dog in this fight?
Rosie O'Donnell seemed to take some sort of umbrance against the fact that I allowed this girl a second chance, as if I was somehow trying to play the role of moral arbiter in this situation.
Okay.
And then she attacked me personally after I gave this young lady a second chance.
All right, I have one quick clip. This is Rosie O'Donnell.
He's the moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair. Had kids both time, but he's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America. Donald, sit and spin, my friend. I don't enjoy him.
So that was the first thing she said. I don't enjoy him. And then she went on to say you went bankrupt, you didn't pay any of your creditors.
Yeah, she lied, she lies, and lied.
Now,
that
Donald,
fat face opened up and lies poured out.
My understanding of your career, and I could be mistaken, is that I thought you did go bankrupt once and then came back.
Now I'm going to sue you.
No, I'm saying I just...
with your fat face now for saying that.
I'm just saying I thought that was the case.
No, I had a few bad business situations with a few of my casinos and things, but I'm worth over $5 billion. I'm quite solvent.
Right. Yeah, Forbes says it's far less than that. But the point is, why
now
are
I'm
you...
going to sue you.
Well, you can't.
Giant freak. Now you're going to be sued.
You can sue Forbes.
they said. But here's my question for you, Donald. It's one thing to say, well, she's got her facts wrong. It's another thing to go on and talk about how fat she is, and she's a loser, and everything.
Loser.
Everything she touches goes poorly, and the magazine went out of business.
It did, yes.
You're talking about, you were saying over the weekend how her talk show failed. She had one of the most successful daytime talk shows in history. She walked away from it. She retired from it.
No, people got tired of her fat ass being on television, and they turned their sets off. People were throwing television sets out of their windows.
They were, really?
On. Yes.
Wow.
That's a fact.
Here's my opinion on the whole thing. I am not a big fan of yours, but I hate Rosie. So the deeper you go, the harder you cut, the better it is.
Listen, my friend, let me tell you something. Rosie O'Donnell is a blob of whale smegma. She is. Are you familiar with the dung beetle?
Yes.
A dung beetle eats crap.
It does, yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell is what the dung beetle craps out.
Oh, wow.
That
Rosie
is harsh.
O'Donnell is cuddly as a cactus, as charming as an eel. She's a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
I believe that's
Mr. Grinch.
Yeah, I think it's the Grinch. That's right.
Listen, I'll tell you something about Rosie O'Donnell.
Please.
Lesbianism has dropped 39% around the world.
Really?
She is scaring women straight.
She's not bringing people into the fold, huh?
No, she is not. Lesbians are looking at her and saying, I'm going to go for some penis.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, that's
they
probably...
hired her on The View to make Joy Behar look more feminine.
Ouch.
Rosie O'Donnell killed Gerald Ford and James Brown.
Oh, she did not.
Single-handedly.
Gerald Ford was 93. He was just old, Donald.
He was a vibrant 93, and Rosie put something in his oatmeal.
She didn't put anything in his oatmeal.
Rosie O'Donnell's wanted for having sex with aardvarks in San Diego from the zoo.
She's not. What are you
you're
talking
just
about?
making stuff up now. That
Rosie
didn't happen.
O'Donnell gave George Bush the mistaken intelligence that led us into the Iraqi war.
That, I think, is true.
I think I'm suing Rosie O'Donnell not only for the fact that she lied about me, but for irreparable damage to my eyes, because the other night Exit to Eden was on, a movie that she appears in wearing a bustier.
Yeah, that's pretty hideous.
I can no longer see colors. I only see in black and white. I'm also suing for pain and suffering and mental anguish for that movie where she played the retard.
Yeah.
TV movie.
Yeah, that was pretty bad as well.
By the way, retardation has dropped 39%.
Is that right?
Retards are being scared smart after seeing her be a retard.
Don't be stupid!
It is a story about Donald Trump and tipping.
Oh, okay.
There's a girl that works in Santa Monica, and apparently Donald Trump walked into the restaurant that she worked at and asked her what's the biggest tip she's ever received.
Oh, really?
She said it had to be maybe Jerry Bruckheimer, who had a $1,000 bill and tipped $500.
Oh, that's pretty generous.
Nice.
Jeez.
According to this story, Donald Trump left a $10,000 tip.
What?
No.
Come on.
$10,000 tip.
I know he's, hey, look at me, but really?
Well, you could see he was setting up for that when he walked in and said, what's the biggest tip?
But
Right.
would
Well,
you
let's
think
ask
he'd
him.
go like 2,000?
Well, let's ask him. I mean, we have him on the line. Let's ask him what the hell's going on here.
God.
Donald?
Mr. Trump, was there too much setup?
What? Hello?
Are you all right?
Who is this?
Are you suggesting that we went on too long before we came to you?
No.
All right.
Not at all. That was crisp.
It's Kevin and Bean. We're calling from K-Rock.
Naked with Grandma.
Yes.
Did I win?
Yes, sir.
No.
No.
Why don't you do a thing called Naked with Daddy?
Nope.
So Ivanka can win some tickets.
Oh, dear God, no.
Come on.
She's
That's,
hot.
Yeah,
she
no.
is,
She's
but
a
not in
very
a photo.
hot girl.
Right, but not in a photo with you. You might just try to marry her. We
That
don't
would
want
be
that.
hot.
You're
No,
her
no, no.
dad.
Yes.
Listen, Mr. Trump, here's the reason we're maybe you dozed off, you didn't hear the intro. We want to find out if this story about you at the Buffalo Club in Santa Monica is true. Does that sound familiar to you?
I was at the Buffalo Club in Santa Monica.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And you left a big tip? Did that happen?
$10,000.
You left a $10,000
Seriously?
tip.
I am the biggest tipper ever in the history of tipping, and anyone who's ever given a gratuity for someone for services rendered has never topped the ability that I have to give money to randomly people who bring me food and a beverage.
Now,
It's quite a category.
that is a category.
I'm the best.
Now, how much was your bill, if you don't mind my asking?
$9.95.
$9.
Oh, no.
I had
Okay.
half a Cobb salad.
Okay.
Okay, that seems to us that you may have over-tipped that server a little bit.
I don't care. I am so stinking rich, I don't even feel it. I'm having breakfast right now. Hey, Seuss, you. cleaning up the dirty plates. Here's $1 million.
Oh,
Have
you're
a
not.
good time.
What? You're not.
I just gave an immigrant $1 million.
No, you did not.
I did.
What restaurant are you in?
Bill's. Bill's Diner.
But Donald, let me ask you this. Isn't it really just a way to get your name in the paper and to say, hey, look at me, check me out, you haven't been paying attention to my last...
I'm one of the most famous people in the world. I don't need extra publicity.
Right.
Okay.
Everyone knows me. Everyone loves me. I don't need extra publicity.
Okay, but if the bill was $9.95, a $200 tip would have been just monstrous beyond belief.
But I gave her $10,000.
Well, that means look at me. I hope the story gets out. Wow, look at me. Look at me.
Look at the size of my Johnson.
Okay,
I am financially well hung. That's
Right.
what that means.
Okay.
But isn't it more, hey, no one's watching The Apprentice anymore and I've got a new season coming soon, I need to get some publicity somehow?
No, it means Jerry Bruckheimer. That's what it
I
means.
see.
With his
Okay.
CSI, with his successful TV shows. Bruck him.
Because he's got successful shows and you don't.
I understand one of the people on your show does an impression of me. Is that true?
Yes, we have a young man named Ralph who's very talented in the voice department.
No, I heard it was a broad who does it.
Oh, yeah, Lisa does it, too.
Lisa also does you. Yeah, that's right.
Can I hear a little of her impression, please?
Sure. Lisa, you want to do your Donald Trump for Donald?
I tip the most money in the world, and I have the best hair ever. Come watch my show. It's the best show in the world.
That's where it came
He's
from.
talking about running for president?
Yes, he is. He told Fox Network, I'm being totally serious. I can't stand what's happening to this country. I'm being serious about this. Doesn't say I'm going to do it, but we have no common sense. We're losing the country. Mark my words. If we keep going this way, we're losing this country. It will no longer be great. And he says he is the man to turn us around. You know, a lot of people say that there's something to be said for having a businessman run government, although those two things are generally run very differently. But Donald Trump for president. We wanted to find out more, so we asked producer Alex to get Mr. Trump on the line for us, and he joins us now on the Kevin and Bean Show. Hi, the Don.
Good morning, Kevin and Bean. How are you?
We are good.
Yes, you are. You're the greatest radio program that's ever been aired in the history of all terrestrial radio going through the air that received by other people of antennas and things that they listen to on radio.
All right, we'll take that. All right.
You're very kind, but also, again, a lot of hyperbole coming from you. So this report is accurate. You did, in fact, tell Fox News that you are seriously considering a run for the White House.
Absolutely. It's time for us to take this country back. And I'm so tired of seeing what's happening to this country.
Sure.
We need to bring back to the values that made America great.
And that would mean what?
All women have to be blonde and have 36 double D breasts.
Okay. When was that? Because I missed that part of our history.
Yeah, that is a good point.
That's one of my favorite things about America.
Okay. All right.
That's why all my wives look alike.
They do.
Yeah, I was wondering, just because those are the criteria you have for someone that you'll marry doesn't mean that's something you can impose on 300 million people.
And don't forget my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, your daughter,
my
too,
God,
yeah.
Does she have great cans?
Yeah, the surgery looks good on her.
That seems
She's
inappropriate.
hot.
Kind of odd for you to say that, though.
She is freaking hot.
Right, but let
She
other
is the
people...
hottest of all daughters I've ever had that have been the issue of my loins.
Right. It's just kind of creepy for the dad to talk about how hot the kid is. That's
Sorry, hot.
all. Okay. So how would things be different if you were to, say, get elected? You know, there's a tide of anti-Obama sentiment going around, and somehow you end up winning the White House, and then what? What do you do?
Well, my biggest strength, I think, would be dealing with foreign affairs.
Okay.
I would have affairs with all kinds of women all over the world.
No,
That's not what it means by
That's not
foreign
what that
affairs.
means at all.
What does it mean?
It's interactions you have with other countries. It's how America relates to other countries around the world.
Well, I could do that, too. Instead of wars, what we would have is I would get representatives from all the different countries, and then I would make them compete by doing different sort of competitions.
But that's your TV
Like,
show. I don't...
okay, now China, you have to make a really good presentation for Kodak and give a great consumer experience. Go. And then if China doesn't do it, I blast them with a cannon.
What?
I attack them.
Okay, you can't just go to you can't just nice sound effects. No.
And then I say, you're fired upon.
Oh, come on. Really?
Omar, was this the best cannon you could get for me, really?
This is not a very good cannon.
All right, first thing I do as president, get a new sound effects guy.
Okay. All right, good.
Apparently so. You got a guy named Omar working for you. I did not know that.
I do, yes.
All right, you understand.
Omarosa.
Oh.
Just
You
put it in the file.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely put it in the file. Finally, Donald Trump has weighed in on the Kate Middleton topless photo scandal. Lisa?
Oh, yeah.
Finally.
We've been waiting for that, to hear what he has to say.
I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I was confused. What should I think about this? Is it Kate's fault? Did it serve her right for laying out there topless, knowing that, she's one of the most photographed women in the world and that people will pay big money for photographs of her? Or are the paparazzi just sleazy and not giving her privacy? I didn't know what to think about it, but thank God Donald Trump has weighed in, and here's his quote. Kate Middleton is great, but she shouldn't be sunbathing in the nude. She only has herself to blame. Who wouldn't take Kate's picture and take lots of money if she does the nude sunbathing thing? Come on, Kate.
Well, okay. That's surprising to me.
Let's find out where the Donald is coming from here as he joins us back on the Kevin and Bean Show on K-Rock. Hey, Mr. Trump, how are you, sir?
Come on, Kate.
Come on, Kate. Look.
Is there no place in the world that she could go?
Listen to me. I am the smartest man in the history of business that has ever been involved in business transactions that ever become between two corporations and or two individuals.
Okay.
That's how I made my millions.
Right, but none of that is true. There are plenty of people who are smarter, plenty of people who are more successful than you are, and even if it were true...
I'm glad you agree. Thank you.
It doesn't mean you have any insight whatsoever into what's right or wrong for Kate. Look,
I do. I know about celebrities. I know about celebrity things. I have a show called Celebrity Apprentice.
I can't argue with that.
The title.
Yeah.
So I'm an expert on celebrities.
In Europe... And she was in France when the photo was taken on a private residence, by the way. Something like 80% of the women go topless sunbathing. It's just normal. It's just what people do. It's not bad. It's not evil.
So you want us to be more European, right, Barack?
No, what I'm saying is if a woman wants to take her top off, I'm not going to be the guy who scolds her about it.
And it was really, really isolated where they were.
Apparently not isolated enough.
Well, apparently not.
There were photographers there taking her picture. And I'm saying if you're next in line to be Queen of England, you do not sunbathe. You have to consider your breasts like the royal jewels. They're the crown jewels. And by that I mean they should be removed and locked up in the Tower of London.
Okay, that doesn't even make any sense. You can't remove her breasts. Let's face it.
I know an excellent surgeon.
Oh, God, I'm sure you do.
Mr. Trump, why did you think anyone cared what you thought on this topic?
Because everyone cares about everything that I have to say about everything.
Why do you always have to try to get in the middle of every news story? This doesn't have anything to do with you.
Because I'm the only person with clarity of vision who's able to tell people what they should be doing and how they should lead their lives.
I did see...
Come on, Kate.
I did see also this week that you were very out front, even though nobody asked you, telling Mr. Romney to not back down from those comments about the 47% of Americans being freeloaders.
That's right.
And you said, whatever you do, don't back up. Just stand to your guns, and you're giving him advice. Look, he doesn't need your advice either.
He does, because he's right. The 47% of Americans are freeloaders. They're on welfare, and they don't contribute to America. In fact, we should round them up and get them out of here.
Okay. I don't think you mean round them up. That sounds
round
dangerous.
them up. Put them on a barge and just have them sit in the middle of the Hudson River, which you can see beautifully from my Trump Towers International apartment complex.
Do you have to give advice to every celebrity? That's my point, really.
Yes, that's my new thing. I am giving advice, solicited or otherwise, to every celebrity that's out there because they all need to learn how to behave more like the Donald.
Okay. Anyone else you want to shout out to, since you have a platform right now?
Give me a name. I'll straighten them out.
Amanda Bynes. What are you going to do for Amanda Bynes?
Amanda Bynes isn't being crazy enough.
Really?
What is that? What are you talking about?
She needs to really push it. She really needs to get out there and show people that she's an individual, a free spirit, and an artist. So instead of smoking dope behind the wheel of her car, she should have been shooting up.
Okay, that's horrible advice. The last thing...
Amanda, tie off a vein in the parking lot of Home Depot and chase the dragon.
Okay, no, that's terrible advice. The last thing she needs is to get sick. All right,
what about the biggest star in America if she just starts shooting up heroin?
That's
I don't
terrible
care, between
advice.
her toes, into her arm veins, wherever she needs to find a portal, she needs to stuff heroin into her bloodstream.
Stop saying that, and don't do that, Amanda Bynes. All right, what about Lance Armstrong, who is disgraced, has had all of his Tour de France victories stripped from him, and is now...
fix his problem in one swift action. Remove the other ball. Everyone had sympathy for Lance Armstrong when he lost the ball. So if you take the other ball, imagine how people will feel about him. They'll say, poor Lance Armstrong, he has no balls.
Okay, that's
Let's
terrible
give that
advice.
guy a break. Let him keep his championships. Hasn't he lost enough? For God's sakes, the man's a eunuch.
All right, Mr. Trump, last one for you. He's the most despised man in America. What do you do for K-Rock's beer mug?
Fire beer mug.
Oh, okay, there we go. Finally the guy makes sense.
Let me tell you something. You're fired.
Yeah! Donald Trump in the news. I could not be more delighted to see that he is being sued by the state of New York for $40 million.
Wow, for what?
Wow, they're mad at him.
Love it.
He has had a number of problems with what he calls the Donald Trump University.
What is that?
It's basically what it is he has a course that you can take where he says, you want to be rich like me, you want to be a billionaire like me, you want to have my life, you want to be where I'm at, sign up for my seminars and I'll teach you how to do what I do with buying and selling real estate. There are students over up to 5,000 students have paid as much as $35,000 to take these Donald Trump seminars. They thought that, here's in the complaint, they thought they would at least meet Donald Trump, but instead all they got was their picture taken in front of a life-size picture of the Apprentice TV star. He basically is saying, I'm going to teach you how to do what I do, and then you take these courses, and then at the end of them, sometimes they're 3 days, sometimes they're a week. You don't really know anything. You can't learn how to do what Donald Trump does or what other people who are even more successful than him do over the course of a weekend. It just doesn't work that way. You're throwing your money away, and you can't call it a university because it's not accredited. And New York is basically saying to Donald Trump, you stop it and give us $40 million.
Wow. I love it.
I know.
The people who watch The Apprentice, and I assume if you're a Donald Trump fan enough that you would pay for something like this, you know what a moron he is, right?
I would think
Why
so.
would you ever write a huge check to go learn from Donald Trump or somebody who's working for him? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Well, we wanted to find out more about this, so we thought we're lucky enough to know Mr. Trump personally, so let's get him on the line, find out what he has to say. I'm sure he thinks this lawsuit is outrageous. Hi, Donald Trump. Welcome back to the Kevin and Bean Show, sir.
Hello, Trump University. How can I help you?
Well, you're not allowed to call it Trump University anymore because you're not a university.
We are. We're a university, a wonderful institution of learning here at Trump University.
Are you
I am
accredited?
Professor Trump at your service.
Are you
How may I help you and teach you today?
Are you accredited?
You know, is Yale accredited?
Yes, it is.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely 100%, yes.
Is Harvard accredited?
Yes, it also is accredited, yes.
When they started, they probably weren't accredited. They probably, like, the past week or so, they got accredited.
I don't think so. I think they've been accredited for quite some time.
Sometimes a school has to begin before it can be accredited, and that's what we do here at Trump University, where we teach you how to be rich, just like Professor Donald Trump.
Here's one article on the news story. There's another word for consumers who believe in the Trump brand enough to pay $35,000 to go to something called Donald Trump University, and it rhymes with borons.
Boron. That is an element on the periodical chart.
Right.
See, you can learn that at Trump University. We
but
have
the point
lessons
is-
in chemistry, business, arts, whatever you want to learn, you can learn at Trump University.
What are people getting out of up to $35,000 in fees and tuitions? What can you teach somebody sometimes in as little as a weekend, Mr. Trump?
You can learn the patented Donald Trump technique for getting rich and famous.
Which is...
Start a school and have people pay you $35,000 to come to it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Wasn't most of your success due to the fact that you were born to a real estate developer who was already very, very wealthy to get you started?
That doesn't hurt. And that is lesson one here at Trump University.
That's lesson one. You don't have...
Born into a rich family.
You don't have any control over that.
Or do you?
Well, you don't.
But do you?
No. The answer is no.
But what if you did?
But you don't.
But if in case you do,
right, but no
you
one
should.
does.
What if you can?
But you can't.
But if you can, then do it, is what we say.
All right.
At Trump University.
What about
Also, we teach you the ins and outs of real estate.
Okay. Like what?
Buy
What's a good
property when it is not very expensive.
Right. I
Then
but I know
sell
that.
it when property is at a premium.
Right.
That will give you a profit.
Buy low, sell high. Got it.
Oh, that's good. Hold on, let me write that
No,
down.
but that's what I'm saying.
Buy low, sell. Sell what?
High.
High.
That's
buy low, sell high.
Pretty common knowledge, though.
That is the name of our new class here at Trump University. Buy low, sell high. With special guest professor Kevin.
What about the complaint that the students had at least an expectation that they would get to meet you, or that you would be there teaching in some capacity?
They met me.
They get a picture taken with a cardboard stand-up of you from the TV show.
Or was that really me, just being really flat?
Well, they said it was cardboard.
Or was I just leaning against the wall, being very still?
No.
It's hard to know because we weren't there, but I take their word for it, they know cardboard when they see it.
Or was I hiding behind the cardboard, peeking out through those eyes, like one of those movies where the eyes are moving in the picture?
I don't think that was happening either. It was not happening at all.
These are all possibilities, and that's what Trump University is all about the many possibilities of life. If you come here in a row, you will learn business, you will learn arts, sciences, medicine, law.
You don't teach law.
We do. We teach you, do not sue me. That's one class that we have.
That's a whole class.
It's all about law, about kinds of suits you should not bring against me.
So what's your defense going to be to the $40 million lawsuit from the Attorney General of New York? I mean, he sounds like he's really going for it.
I'm going to say, listen, come to Trump University, watch our football team, catch a football game, and then see if you feel that we're not a real university.
You have a football team?
Yes. Our mascot is the llama. The Trump llamas.
I was not expecting that.
There's our llama. She goes around campus, and all the kids love her.
That's a terrible noise.
Well, we're a terrible team.